If I could have everyone's attention, please. Thank you. First of all, before we start the meeting, I appreciate you coming out tonight. As you can tell, the acoustics are less than desirable in this building for purposes of our meeting. It'll be nice for talking afterwards, but we'll do our best to keep our voices up and such. If anybody can't hear as we're proceeding in the meeting, since we don't have mics and such, if you would just raise your hands and it'll get our attention and we'll know to adjust accordingly. Okay? All right, with that, I'll call to order our meeting for October 22, 2013. Jill, if you would please call the roll.
Mr. Matthews.
Here.
Mr. Moffett.
Here.
Mr. Paul.
I'll move that we excuse Mr. Pauly due to a circumstance that came up for him.
Second.
We had one set of minutes prepared from our last trustees meeting dated September 10. This is September 10.
No.
Yeah. Didn't seem right there.
October 8th.
October 8, 2013.
Sounds better.
There we go. Any corrections or changes to those, Ed?
No, I have none.
Okay. Those will stand approved as prepared for us. Public speaks. Anybody have anything before we go on with our agenda items? Sir, come on up. We don't have a mic for you tonight, but if you would just give us your name.
I don't think you have a problem hearing me.
All right.
Yeah, I was just wondering, if you got anything on that nuisance complaint that was filed against me illegally?
You're Mr. Stevenson, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't have anything with respect to a nuisance complaint, but if you'll stay around tonight, we're going to address your situation. As I represented to you, we'd address it and make sure that it's corrected, okay?
Okay.
All right. Anybody else have anything for us? Okay, well, we'll move on through our agenda items then. Ed, there's only one item on the agenda regarding the road department.
Well, the first thing I'd like to comment about is the road crew have, on their non-busy times, have painted this and cleaned it. And I think it looks fabulous. They've done a fabulous job. If they had a little bit of time, they would work on it. And it really came out nice. You'll notice we're putting new lights up in the back. They're more energy efficient and a lot of brighter light. So they're working out real well. And we're going to finish. We're going to finish this over here. We're going to extend the metal one up here and put new lights in this section here. So it'll all be energy efficient and much more pleasant work conditions. All right. So with that, the second thing is, I want to comment about roundabouts. The trustees of Lexington Township do not have anything to do with roundabout that they're talking about putting in on Fresh Street. We are not privileged to any information on it. I found out about it in a roundabout way just through so that was a pun intended. I'm willing to talk to anybody about it, but just don't holler at me because I really cannot do anything about it. And I think if you remember right, they were going to put a roundabout on McCallum on 619 a couple of years ago. They surveyed it and everything, and the cost was prohibitive. I think you're going to find, unless they can find some awful good grants, you're going to find that it's going to be a long time before it ever goes through, and if it ever does. And some of the property owners are hoping for that. But I wanted to comment on those two things. Mike, what do you have?
Just one thing, schedule a meeting for employee evaluation.
How would next Friday work, the 1st, that afternoon?
Friday. What time?
Anytime in the afternoon. You guys usually, would 3 o'clock work, somewhere around there?
Yeah.
2:30, 3 o'clock?
No,
No.
it Friday won't work out for me. Any day next week, Monday or Tuesday.
Any day but Friday. Making sure. That's all right. We'll sort it out. Let's see. Yeah, next week is bad other than Friday for me, so I'm probably going to have to look into that next week. Start with the 4th.
All right. What about in the morning? 9 o'clock in the morning one morning.
Oh, those work too, but we've had better success in the afternoon. Would that afternoon work?
Yeah.
Tentatively? All right. How about if we tentatively set the meeting for Monday, October 4th at 2:30? November 4th
Okay,
at
that's
2:30?
Okay.
And the only reason it's tentative, it's subject to Mike's availability.
Yeah,
Okay.
at 2:30.
Yep.
Yeah, that works out.
And we already have the evaluations, so that will make it a little faster. Okay.
That's all I have.
Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Jim, do you
No.
have anything? Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief. I'll cover these items with you in Mike's absence, okay?
Okay.
You can just start off when you're ready.
I've got a request to use the meeting room by Corey Bailey on November 2nd.
All right, I'll move that we authorize the use of the meeting room by Corey Bailey on November 2.
Second.
Request approval for purchase order to Moore Medical, amount of $450 for advanced airway supplies.
I'll move we open that purchase order to Moore Medical as indicated.
Second.
Request a purchase order to Easton Auto, the amount of $150 for a new deep cycle marine battery and trickle charger for the boat.
Okay, I'll move that we open the purchase order to Easton Auto for the $150 for the uses indicated.
Second.
Request approval for a purchase order to Warren Fire, amount of $1,400. This is for the SCBA mass fit test that we have to do every year.
And I'll move that we authorize that purchase order as well.
Second.
Last thing is, you have a letter in your file from FDRU. They're requesting a meeting with me and you guys to discuss the possibility of working under us. The FDRU is the Fire Department Rescue Rehab Unit. Right now, they're not working under anybody, but they would like a chance to work under somebody, and they picked us if we allow them to. But they'd like to have a meeting to discuss it.
Any, I was supposed to say any night, but Friday.
Any night but next week.
How about the next meeting, like Tuesday, maybe a half hour early?
That's okay.
Is that all right? It's not Friday.
Yeah.
I'll get a hold of them.
Okay.
Set it up.
That'll work.
That's all I have.
Okay, Ed, anything else fire related? That's it, Chief.
Okay.
Thank you. Linda? All right. You want to discuss the status of some open zoning issues?
I don't have that black book with me, but if you have something you want. The one on Tullis for Hughes Auto, we sent a zoning violation for running a junkyard in one district and have given them 30 days in which to have everything cleaned up. And I also quoted, if he's going to run the used car lot there, what the cars have to meet and setbacks from the property lines and all. And I did mention they're encroaching onto the property next door.
All right. Anything else in particular?
Just I have one that I would like you to declare so we can get it on the Moving Ohio Forward program. And that is on Tullis, and it is the property from Mrs. Inhurst. It's been abandoned now at least 4 years. We've been mowing it. We've never had, anytime we've sent out letters to banks and anything else on mowing, we've had no response from anybody. But Moving Ohio Forward does have some additional funds, and if we can get this submitted to them, they'll consider it.
Yeah, but what's the status of the building is the predicament we have. We need to know the condition of the building.
The doors, windows are all knocked out. There's no plumbing or heating inside. I didn't have the fire chief go out because this is, and the porch is falling off. It's deplorable, I guess. That's what we call it. If you need the fire chief to go out, we can do that.
Yeah, in the absence of something from the health department or the building department, we definitely need something from the fire chief.
Okay.
Can 50586 still require that? Something from the fire chief?
Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah, unfortunately, we can't make that determination on
Okay.
our own in the absence.
Can we put that on for the next meeting then?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's certainly fine. You know, that takes it out 3 weeks. Is that a problem with the funding? Why don't you look at that, and if it is, we can schedule a separate meeting. for that.
Oh, okay, okay. And just an FYI, we did have a hearing this morning on the Johnson Street property. No one came to oppose it,
All
and
right.
they received no letters from anyone opposing it.
Okay. Did you have any other items on the agenda in particular? Any of these other complaints to consider?
Not unless you have an update on it.
Yeah, I have just two items
Okay.
to address. One is the Beeson Street property that's been an ongoing issue for the past few months. We held a meeting with the property owners roughly, a month ago, three weeks or so ago, and had them in just to talk about the property conditions, see if we could get some movement in improving the conditions. I re-inspected the Beeson property yesterday, and fortunately, it's improved. Okay, I think the owner is here. If he has any comments, he's certainly welcome to offer them.
I appreciate the opportunity to work with the trustees on this issue, and I'm going to continue to work diligently as the weather allows, as we start getting into this cold weather.
By all means, we prefer the cooperation as well. It makes everybody's life a little bit easier. So, where we've left it is he's organized some of his cars. The cars aren't at issue at this point anyway. What I wanted him to focus on is the tires that are in the back yet. I guess you're going to put those in the cars or do something with those. And there were one or two other piles of things that you had collected that you're going to address. Some miscellaneous parts along your garage and things that you're going to try to get into the garage, correct?
Right.
Okay. And I think that will pretty much take care of it from a nuisance standpoint. I don't believe at that point in time any of the remaining small items would actually qualify as a nuisance. So I don't think we need to put a particular time constraint on it because he has been cooperative.
All he's working on.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing as I expressed to you yesterday. I figured that would be the sentiment of the board as well, because we do appreciate you making the effort. And we'll just follow up with you as need be, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. The other item we need to address is regarding one of these applications for consideration under the side lot disposition program. Some of you are new faces, if you will, so I'll just quickly cover what that program is. It's a form of land bank procedure that Stark County is utilizing for putting property that is vacant and is delinquent on taxation rolls back into production by having neighboring property owners pick up the vacant lots. And as part of the process for the side lot disposition program, the Stark County Land Bank submits the information to the local jurisdiction, be it a city or a township, as in our instance, and asks for our input under a few criteria. While they actually ask us to either recommend approval or denial, ultimately the position of denial or approval lies with the land bank. We had 3, I believe, items come up at our last meeting.
I have the incorrect address on one of them. I'm supposed to do that.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's the explanation. We had 3 items come up for consideration. I think we recommended approval of 1 and denial of 2 of them. The very next day, Larry Stevenson was kind enough to contact me. That's the gentleman that stood up here earlier tonight. Was very polite, just wanted to make an inquiry into why there was the recommendation of denial. We had voiced the position at the meeting that one of the bases to recommend denial was an outstanding nuisance on the property. Mr. Stevenson asked me to stop by his house, and I did, and took a look at the property, and it was very clear that something was amiss because there was not a single condition outside of the property that looked like a nuisance. I didn't identify any problem, in fact, outside of the property, so.
The day after he came in and talked to me, he told me something.
All right, well, we need to correct the situation, and I am suggesting that that's what we do. At the last meeting when we considered these, I created a form to help us expedite consideration of these requests. I've had to modify our form to make it a reconsideration document. Hopefully we don't have to use that too often. It'd be better just to get these things straight here. What's that?
It's not an abandoned lot, it's attached to the house next door. And,
Well, again,
okay, it doesn't, I just,
we'll talk about the criteria,
Okay.
but we need to make sure we're getting these right, is my point.
right, and that was my error.
Okay. And I'm going to leave it at that right now. We just need to get these things right, and this one we need to reconsider. It's my view. I'll explain it, and Ed will have the opportunity to offer any input or suggestions about the reconsideration. But I would suggest that we indicate that we previously considered the side lot disposition application from the Stark County Land Bank submitted by Larry Stevenson for parcel number 2801694. We previously recommended the request be denied on account of a record indicating an outstanding nuisance matter. And based upon information that's been brought to the attention of the board's reconsidered that indication of an outstanding nuisance and determined that no such matter or condition exists. And that's accurate, right?
Yes.
There's no nuisance complaint outstanding.
No, absolutely not. And there's no zoning infringement from the other lots, so there's no reason that we would have not to approve.
Okay. Then if you go through the criteria, and here's where, you know, we only have 4 or 5 criteria that we can use. The transfer would comply with the township zoning resolution, correct?
Yes?
Property does not have any outstanding violations.
No?
Transfer would conform to the township's future land use plans.
Yes?
And there doesn't appear to be any other reason to deny the request.
Well, just correct an error.
I have left on here our comment from the last one, our last consideration, that the land bank may wish to consider whether the transfer would impact the value of that corner lot for future tax purposes and sales. I think that's all we can put in there. It doesn't control it. It's not necessarily meaningful, but they should consider it, okay?
Okay.
And with that, Ed, I would move that we adopt this reconsideration and recommend that the request be approved.
I would have no problem with that. I'd second it.
Okay.
Just for the record, Mr. Stevenson has been mowing and taking care of that lot for quite a long time.
Okay. Mr. Stevenson, do you have any questions about what we just discussed?
Well, the only thing I wondered about, but I couldn't really hear you very good, you going to reconsider the approval of me obtaining that, or?
Yeah, we've gone through the materials that were submitted by the county, and we've basically reconsidered the position of an outstanding nuisance. We've made it clear there is no outstanding nuisance complaint or condition, okay? And so from our standpoint, we're recommending approval. And we'll have somebody in the office get that over to Lem Green tomorrow so that he has it and he can follow up with you.
Now, because I know she said she wrote a letter when the nuisance thing was filed, but I never did receive no letter.
I have the wrong address, Mr. Jones.
Okay. Do you have my correct address?
I do now, yes,
Okay.
we have everything correct now. After I came out to see you, out of the house, and then looked at the lot and measured to make sure it wouldn't infringe with the side lot zoning for the other house, then we were good to go.
Bottom line is no nuisance, okay? All right. I appreciate your patience with that, and again, you were very polite in our conversations, and I'm glad we solved that little dilemma, all right? Those are the only two items I have, that's zoning or nuisance related. Ed, anything?
Nope, I have that.
Linda, anything else?
No?
Thank you. Ken, anything tonight?
No, from your report.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our general township items. Next item on the agenda is to address the condition of the Willow Point building with Stark Parks and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Someone here who was going to address that with us tonight?
Gary's from the Corps of Engineers here at Campbell.
Okay, do you want to come on up?
Oh, well, see, I know that you have the disadvantage here. It's my understanding that I was going to come down here and find out what potential courses of action were being considered here in Lexington Township, reference to Willow Point area, so that I can take it back to my organization and see how we can interface with you folks. So, as far as anything formal to present, I really do not have anything.
This is actually much simpler, so don't feel under...
Yeah, no, so you understand that I'm here kind of to initiate contact, because, you know, over the years, we have not really talked to each other on various issues down this way, and I appreciate the opportunity. But as far as specifics on the Willow Point, I'm kind of here finding out what's going on.
Here's the only specific we care about. I'll make it really simple too.
Okay.
There's a dilapidated, rotten building that needs torn down.
Yes.
And that's all we care about at this point.
Well,
So how about that?
I understand that, yes.
It'd be great to talk to you in the future about other uses and plans for the property. You know, we still struggle as a small local township dealing with buildings that just need to be eliminated. We try as best we can to use the money we have to take some buildings down. We've managed to get a little bit of county money available this year to take some buildings down. What we viewed, we helped facilitate transferring that property to the parks, and we figured that that would help the process in getting the building down. So I'll look behind you here, and maybe this gentleman can help us out.
Well, I think that's kind of what I was kind of anticipating.
Okay.
We as a small group
Yeah.
can sit down and eyeball each other and take a look at what's happening there and what courses of action or actions are going to be taken from there, and seeing how we can interface. So,
With the consent of the Parks District tonight, this group of people could probably go knock that building down in 10 minutes.
I thought about that.
We should have thought about it. Should have had the meeting out there. If you don't mind, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Todd Schaefer, Operations Manager with Stark County Park District. I've only been in the district since the 1st of September.
Okay.
I suppose this is an open house, I would have been there on time, so apologize for that. We are aware of the building at the Willow Point property on Berlin Lake. It's now what we call one of our properties. We would like to do something with that building also. And I'll put that on my list for funding from our primary budget for next year. However, I know Deer Creek is our primary focus in this area.
Sure.
We upgrade that to the level, we have a wall-borne reservoir also, but we'll put that on the list, and we'll take a look at that with my construction crew. And if it's not funded, see if I can take care of that out of our budget, construction budget, which goes back and forth with how many trails I have to build next year. So it will be on our radar for next year, but I can't make any promises that it's something we're definitely will be taking care of. Used that area before, that lake, and it's been there, it's been an eyesore since I've been in Stark County for over 20 years.
It's not as bad an eyesore during the spring and summer because the growth is all there. That was tongue in cheek, of course. But now it's, you know, it's just a nightmare condition, it needs to come down. I think that we'd be willing to help, wouldn't we, Ed? If there's some, you know, we can offer intergovernmental services to help things out.
Okay.
If it was offering some of the road labor, they're all pointing amongst themselves. I'm accepting that as a willingness to help out.
I'll trade cards.
There you go.
After the meeting, and if you want to have it, we'll see if we can do it together. It might even help people speed up the process for us.
Right, and that's all we're interested in, is just speeding up the process. I think that's a good way to work.
Partnering with a lot of people, there'll be a lot of things done.
Sure.
Not much cost, so we'll see if we can continue that.
And when we say that we facilitated the transfer of the property to the park system, we knew that it would still take some time. We didn't expect an immediate turnaround to have it cleaned up, so just wanted to keep that dialogue going. It was very nice of you to come out and offer that support. And by all means, in terms of working with the Army Corps, if there's anything we can sit down in the future and talk about, we're willing to do that. But our primary interest is just in cleaning up the property at this point. So.
Well, in that particular case, there may be some issues with the boundary line and some permitting and stuff, and we're more than willing to work with you as fast as possible.
Good, appreciate that. We can use that cooperation.
All right.
All right.
Thank you both. Go ahead.
There's no water or sewer on that, no septic tanks or anything like that, is there?
No.
So all it is that building that's 3/4 of the way down.
Has it been checked for any material? I'm not gonna say.
There's nothing but concrete block.
Concrete block, there's no old flooring or anything. That helps.
Is there cement, is it the cement block building?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it for years. It's been so grown up.
It's a big tree house, right? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you both. Ma'am, did you have something?
Yes, I was wondering about the property lines there,
Oh, okay.
because I understand that when the lady, I actually knew the lady that lived there, I mean at the house, and that the property line partly was on the Corps and partly on her property, so I was just curious if that person donated that part of it, or...
Well, I can tell you, and I can tell you this only because I prepared the deed, the only thing she donated to the park system was the exact same parcel that was in her name.
Oh, good.
That was it. Yeah, we didn't do a title search, but we pulled up the record of her actual record of title and used that for
But
preparing
it's
the
not
deed.
the house beyond it?
No,
It's just the custard stand?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And there is a piece that goes behind the custard stand before you get to that house. It's basically road right away.
I know.
Okay, so, you know, it's separate.
Yeah.
It's all fast. Mrs. Tover's house.
All right, we'll move on here. Next item is to consider replacement or repairing of a meeting microphone. The microphone that Ed ordinarily uses, he tends to abuse, and it's broken apparently. So we need to either replace that or have it repaired. You're indicating here that the cost to replace is $340.30 and the cost to repair is $105. Is there any reason not to repair it?
We have had it repaired, when we put in the new system.
Okay.
They repaired it. I don't know if there's something wrong with the cord, but I plugged it in a couple weeks ago, and it doesn't work again. So, that's kind of why I got both prices.
So you're not comfortable having it repaired again?
I mean, we can
Might
try
just-
it one time and see how long it lasts.
Well,
I know we already have $100 into it once. So.
yeah. What do you think, Ed? Just go ahead and get a new one then?
I think she's the boss.
Nobody's going to argue with that. So. With that discussion, I'll move that we authorize replacing microphone number 4 for $340.30.
I'll second that.
We've received some plans for the construction of a gas line on Price Street. Looking at the plans, it's apparently an extension of a service line for about 800 feet along the right-of-way of Price. Ed, I know you took a look at these.
I think it's just a courtesy that they ask us anyhow. They probably go ahead and do it.
They still want to just indicate that the local authority reviewed them and approved them. So to the extent our approval is meaningful at all, I'll move that we approve the proposed gas line extension.
I'll second it.
And Jill, you want to just handle getting that back to them?
Sure.
Thank you. All right. Next item, if I could just get some clarification. Apparently, Road Solutions paid their contribution for the township dinner for the township.
They wrote it out for the township.
Right.
The Stark County Township Association has a procedure of rotating the dinners around to the various townships. We've sponsored the October dinner for quite a few years and did so this year as well. One of the three sponsors was Road Solutions, and they, for whatever reason, made their payment to the township, and I suppose that's been receipted that way, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it needs to come right back out and go as a payment to the vendor. So I'll move that we authorize payment to Kinsey's Corner in the amount of $200 to cover that 1/3 of the Stark County Township Association dinner.
Second. Mr. Matthews also sponsored part of that dinner and has for his law firm, I should say, has for several years.
All right, next item, I'll move that we approve a then and now purchase order in the amount of $2,583 for the agreed upon audit procedure for 2011-2012.
And that audit report was released by the state auditor on October 10th. And I do actually happen to have a copy of the official one, and you can go online to view it.
All right, just need to take care of that motion, it's out of the way. And all of you should be pleased that the audit, again, is to use a correct word, I guess, a clean audit.
Correct.
We've reached the point over the past few cycles, we're audited on a 2-year basis, and over the past cycles, we've been down to just 1 or 2 recommendations on some simple items. And I think we've even eliminated those at this point, right?
Yes.
So we're doing our best to make that an easy process. Okay, anything, Ed, related to general township items?
No?
Okay. Final few items here. I'll move that we approve the cash revenue and expenditure financial report for year-to-date, prepared and submitted by the fiscal officer.
Second.
Bills tonight are $28,734.01. I'll move we authorize payment of the bills.
Second.
Number of communication items we've received, catalogs, notices, and such, and move we file that communication.
Second.
And we've covered our agenda items. Does anybody have anything, questions, comments, anything else? Go right ahead.
I don't know who to thank for whoever, but the idea was to pave Barker's Acres, the street there, really nice. I don't know where it came, I was shocked when they started paving that.
Well, that's your township, that's what we're here for.
Well,
so,
thank you,
yeah,
thank you.
We try our best to keep the roads in a cycle, and this cycle came up to the Barkus allotment, so and we had the funding to take care of it, and then they did turn out really well, yeah.
And another thing, last winter, the road crew did an excellent job out there. I don't know if he's still here, I don't know who he is. I think I know who he is now. But anyway, they did a really good job.
Well, it's good to hear.
Yeah.
They do a good job all the time.
I agree, they do,
We started it a little bit different. We wanted to do the whole allotment so that when it comes time to do it, we're not piecemealing. So we done the whole allotment, the spurs and everything else. And it worked out real well.
It did, yes.
It makes the allotment look better and everything else. And by that, it really increases the property value. And it worked out real well doing the whole
You
allotment.
mean my taxes are going up now?
It's yours.
Just kidding.
Ed wanted to put a roundabout right there. Talking out of it. So.
after the meeting, if anybody's interested in touring the rest of the garages and everything, why, our road crew's standing by and they'll be glad to help you. And there's cider and donuts. And if anybody has any questions, ask the trustees or the road foreman or the people who work on the roads.
Absolutely.
They do an excellent job. I know that with winter coming on, they're going to do a good job. They did it last year. They did a good job. We just had one instance, but other than that, we didn't have any problem. We had one guy. It's a new, you know, we hired somebody for the road department, and we take. What are you guys laughing about? And we take and give them $100,000 truck. And then, that's what that truck costs. And then we take and put about 10 tons on the front of it and tell them to go plow the roads. Now, don't run into any mailboxes, but you gotta get down the edge of the road. So it makes it interesting for a while. And we had one guy that got a little bit close to the edge and slid off. And so his fellow road crews declared him Rookie of the Year. And of course, they took a picture of it.
He said they don't over my new road.
Other than them taking a few mailboxes down, why, we got along good last winter, and we anticipate that we will this winter.
Very good. All right. As Ed indicated, we will be sticking around, so you're certainly welcome to approach us and talk about anything else you have. Otherwise, that covers our meeting and agenda items, so I'll move that we adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
You know,